obi a bosome bia no wonya bibi eto nechi enesese otimi ede ne ho kohye eye pensions emu ye kapa ahwan enesese otimi etu sana mo
yo medase ye kan se pensions na ye pese ye hye ne se ebedru emre bia obia wo ye adwuma obekọ akwakoje wa home nti no enye obia oye bosom adwuma nko a na obekọ retirement, let me put it that way. Nti no say wo ye aban adwuma o wo ye wa adwuma o ya once ya wo aba abeto asase so nko ade emre bi ebedru a obeye panyini obedru baby no untumi nye adwuma biem. That is the period that you find say bia may call retirement. Na Ghana ha no ye wo mra eda ne ye bia ho. Nti wo hwe for instance say omo ye aban adwuma or the private individuals na omo ye adwuma na ha no e say 60 years obeko retirement, and I say what usually people call say pensions. But the key word nagasa retirement. Na afi so market woman ono so ebeko retirement. Obi oye mason ono so beko retirement. Obi a oton bibia wo ye bia no emre ni bedru a e wo say obi aye den etumi kọ na okoje na home. Enti no, that is the concept. Once ya wo ababeto asase so nkwande emre bia bedru a obeko pensions. Obekọ retirement na ukọ retirement na sika ye de bema ana sika na wo benya efri abre a wo ahomjibri mu no sa sika no ye fe no pensions. Nti usually no ye confuse pensions with retirement, but ye use ni na no interchangeably. Nti make pensions or retirement I know say everybody would understand it. Nti the basic way so no any say answer na wo beko retirement no nipa bia no ewo nhihye bia ewo se wutumi ede to ho se ne ebedru saa mre no nyoma mu enkonkonye den emma enti nhihye ben na wo de ba abeto ho. Now you're breaking it down to different stages. Obia ya wo a obeko school, enti usually we have what we call the free phase. Until from the period say bia obe the usual school up to 30 years. That time no your friend no free phase. That's the stage I feel na obe toto nyoma we school fufro I feel na obe hwehwe adwuma obe ye 1 2 but even that concept no you develop at the time that was as far back as 1998 by one Captain Jera, ono na otna ase na o design a certain phase of the retirement planning program. You know, that time o design is our program no for the free phase no. Na answer na wo beko obeye sa planning no. Wo hwa those times na you school ntem. First no obehu obi awie university kura na o 28 years, 29 years, 30 years. Eno na emane digina so develop some model no. But this time around no on say enyoma mu asesa. We have people omutumi school we be 20 years, 21 years, 22 years. Sisi ano majority of Ghanaians na kasa we school between 22 and 23. Until we have pushed the free phase back until up to 25 years. Until we expect say by the age of 25 years you would have completed your basic degree. Okay. And then at that time no toto nyoma afi na obehwehwe adwuma afi na nyoma bi wo so a obeye obefiu ma menchen obestare say bia me to TV me to nkonwa me to say sa stage no prepare wo for marriage. Yeah. And then the marriage also is in a different phase altogether. From the age of 26 up to 32 no we say this is what we call the modeling phase. Into that stage wapa sa free phase na your friend free lunch no nti see ano e say utumi etoto wonyoma. And usually you can say obe start save for pensions or for retirement we always advise say you start from the period of 25 years, even though you can start earlier. Until from that 25 up to the 32 years, then over to nyoma nkwala bam until that's the time we be planning your life ankasa. And we plan it stage now, then you move into another phase from 32 up to 50 years. That is the stage so I also utuminya enyoma bi say what's dying. Me call retirement as sika ben and may depending on. And these are the key things so I will say we then from the 50 years up to 60 years, that is what we call the how do you call it? The closing stages of your life. Until I will say to me to BBI because the retirement starts with the age of 60 years.
Yeah, say okay, say ubetumi start pensions earlier than 25 years. Yansha obi a we school at the age of 22. Now your service sika obeje 559 Ghana cedis. Sa nipa no obetumi atua pensions. Na obetua so a category ben and obe fall under.
Yo sa nipa no ebetumi atua. I started with pensions. Mami used myself as an example. Okay. The time I yeah national service, I think near 220 or 240 or so. Yes, I check.
Because about 300 crying.
Because that was the time I started and but even as at that time, I had started planning.
Okay.
I had started planning, putting things aside. And see, so OJ 559. I don't think, even though so many factors would have come to play this year, 559 today, and say 220 or 220, and say 559 today. But at least there is an opportunity for you to plan. No amount is too small for you to plan because to know how much you would need in retirement, it depends on so many factors. Ebini say, at what age are you going to retire? Ube retire at the age of 60 years, and I say Ube retire at the age of 65 years, and Ube retire at the age of 70 years. Ni nano e depende. And how much you would even spend in retirement is also dependent on what you do today. Because o starting temwa, and utumi e compile, and utumi accumulate funds. Until say one starting temna say o try so 22, 23 plus 60. I have about 37 years ahead. Oh, I started but this year we are all getting close to it. Day in and day out. Into how much to start with, it depends on you, the individual, and the kind of life you want to live in retirement. Because we start, we took 50 cedis a home for so na obenya. O 2,000 cedis a home for so na obenya. But then ni nano it depende on the kind of life that you want to live and then when you want to retire. Because let me use the average rate, say retirement age, is 60 years. Into 60 years, ube hieska from 60 years up to time ube. Into time bena ube. Now time ube there obi eni ho a obi tumi akire. But research has indicated say you can use the lifespan of your parents as your cutoff. Into young fan say o mame ewu at the age of 80 years, and now papa ewu at the age of 80 years. Now using some method, technically, all other things being equal, we expect you to also die within that age bracket. And he said, "Oh, mama, so ewu 65, oh papa ewu ebia 70. You can strike an average and know when you think you will die. Now, when you will die, then you can plan very well. Even though we say in America, it is just a theory, because mama will 70 doesn't mean say will 70. You can die before or even after. But it is just a guide. Now, to know how much you would also save, on say obi or retirement, there were so many factors that come to play. Obi or the arena or the call retirement more. Even though from 60 years going, research has indicated say mostly ɛyɛ mpanyiye ɛde yare ahodro ɛna ɛde brain nti obi wɔ hɔ a obi develop hypertension. I mean, these are diseases that will grow with it. Hypertension, ebia stroke, and other cardiovascular diseases. And as you age, you tend to develop these diseases. And I was say planning for that kind of disease because obi ono also anankasa no or hypertensive. And osanso onimi yare a ewo ne ho. So you must know how much you need to cure or how much you need to save yourself from that disease. And oko retirement mu so a obi bepe say obi tutu kwan for tourist purposes. For I mean say bia and then mama nko ha because retirement that's the period I say utumi ji weni kakra. Because from the time I was starting Juma, why you busy santi. It is really time for you to enjoy. It is not time I will say engage in so many activities. But the table no I then attending in so many ways to the extent say even in retirement people would want to seek for extension of work because ebi wo ho ana onye de ontoto na chi yeye ansa na wo be call retirement so I say we make sure say umba kra why then wa hwe mo awi nti obi wo ho a obe call retirement no na afi kra na ebi a owo near friend of pension babies. And say, oh, a pension baby, it means that how much you would need will also have to go up. And there is also the factor of inflation. There are economic factors in inflation because when you were 25 years, now planning how much you would need in retirement, you needed to factor in economic conditions prevailing at the time you retire. For instance, 20 years ago, what was the inflation? And at 20 years now, it's the same. Because who call retirement, who are on call retirement, I am going to buy the same goods. And your man or cotton, the same thing I'm going to make them, Mesome cotton at the same price. Until cotton gari, Mesome cotton gari at the same price. Yeah, in case over 60 years, into Togareno at 5 cedis. And obi over 20 years on to Gareno ebia at 20 cedis and tisa. Also to me factor in those economic conditions also as well. And taxes a key issue we've always been battling with. Now in this country, what we expect in say at least and can able to me some tax waivers and I say a bit a segregation of our population. Now you who say be or more between 60 years, above 60 years, it bet me exempt you from certain tax purposes. Because at the time now we're planning for retirement, maybe I want to factor in those taxation we say, And I mean, we're planning normal, but that's why we always advise say you must seek from the experts. The expert will put in together all these factors to determine say okay mame ube here 1 million Ghana cedis and I ube here 5 million Ghana cedis in retirement, but it is difficult to tell. I cannot tell you say you must get 1 million Ghana cedis in retirement, and I cannot tell Kofi say he must get 5 million Ghana cedis in retirement because your needs are different. Our wants are different. BBI are different. Saying Mpensenpensenmu living my life in retirement is different. Obi wo ho a all call retirement nkwampo no oni baby a ordinity beto ono ankasa entumi ensi edan ye enti afiansa obe den obesen etua for rent. Now your advice is say at least by the time I will be clocking 55 years a day I will say utumi enya baby a wodi uti ebeto anya sa ebema wo expenses in retirement akoso. Because landlord banner say or ka say me tumu a e dey na obeye now pension sika so a ye jinsu sika no so den esua because you can imagine say the base pension currently I think it is about 300 cedis or 350 cedis. And imagine say we get 350 cedis, what can you buy with 350 cedis? na say bia unsan so enni baby a wodi wuti ebeto a how are you going to manage? Yeah.
Enti yen hwe oba bia na panyin bia wodi dwa ana wokodwa so saa nipa no a ne nsanka bosom ya ketua no a wono ye ton ade a na odie no obede atoto nechi
sa sisi a no yenya nhihye bia ye beka ne say we have a pension regime or pension system eboa obia say woye wa adwuma woye aban adwuma there's a system of saving na yewo tier 1 yewo tier 2 and yewo tier 3 and even with the tier 3 and yewo be a friend of personal pension. Now with the tier 1 and tier 2 no dey me nkan ho asem bebre because I don't know it's basically for workers or more ye bosum akatua nti I don't me nkan ho asem bebre but obi a wo ton ade e wo market and I say wo ye wo adwuma tier 3 and then the personal pension is there for you because it is what we call private pensions. One person will make contributions for your retirement. Into amount beyond so pay beyond you can start with it. We oton tomatoes. Sisiano yayeno in so many ways. We have some of the pension institutions in Krana on why to say susu. Enti odisika to mobile money so and one say you subscribe nti a day until 5 cedis kura on bet 5 cedis a day until 10 cedis on bet 10 cedis nti omo tete saa sika no e de to ho ema wo a wonka e bia tier 1 and tier 2 no even though tier 3 no so kura is also for omo tier 1 and then tier 2 no nti wo tete saa sika no e to ho a it is being invested ye de ye adwuma nti ehon fa so obeba nsi hu a ebeba nso le bia no ye be very transparent for you to know ubehu ye be send o say e bia wa contribute 2000 na hon fa so nie nti sisi ano say e na oye den owo nti eno kra no etumi ma wo plan wo life ahead e say within 2 years say metumi nya e bia 3000 by saving 5 cedis or 10 cedis and I just say me pese minya 100,000 I will say me to me here then ema me muso na mento saa sika no mu and this is here obi ani excuse bia obeka say me nim send ye me then me save for retirement because you see aban na man are very flexible even though we have a number of challenges and issues you know aban man are flexible say obi a betumi here then save until we adwuma odwamo o ye mason no o ye hwan the tier 3 and then the personal pension is good for you. Even the tier 1 and the tier 2 crampono, you will be a friend of voluntary contribution. Until you bet me, I walk it to Snate and manage tier 1. Until you bet me, I walk it to Snate. Now, only on Makasa say, Ope say, O dom tier 1. Now, tier 1, O doma near Eddie Brownie say, tier 1 no a year to say, O call retirement, a bemon monthly pension, but also contributing for up to a certain period, 15 years. Until every month, you pay amount depending on how much you contributed. Into individual and you can still join tier 1 and then the tier 2, which is also being managed by the private pension trust. Into obi any excuse, say mean to me NCV and send your pension so akoyeno. Pension who save for pensioner and for who can koto how do you call it this scam investment we say na because who lose scanner you may end up losing your life because pressure now will be toma hono obi enmu a obeden obetumi this scam am back but with the pensions investment in the money is mostly very very safe because of strict conditions near their added down. Until all you need to do is say obe walk into a pension trust. We have about 20 or 23 pension trustees in Ghana. Ye here say obe bisa ye betro emu niye send your obeye no send ye e say oye ni say until oye mason e say ohu say mason adwuma na oye no obeye mre ntem asin obi a oye office work into wo plan a e wo say odi ni na eden e di shim aha because o ma concrete so ne o ma cement so ne ade na no e week day in and day out into wo plan a e wo say hu sene wo be plan afa
yenhwe apart from bosome sika okwa homegye a obenya e dey free eye asoye a working ehu no dey emfaso bi na contributor obetimi enye free o.
As a contributor no enwuma bebre ho a depending on the institution, because for tier 3 no any personal pension no some of the private trustees no your money say omo the insurance package abata ho, and depending on the institution and then the product. But aside that, the only thing you get is your money and then the interest that will accrue. Now, one of the things we've been fighting for, or one of the things that we expect government to do, and it's retirement comes with aging diseases. Say medical kind, hypertension, stroke, nyoma. And see, sa yare no so no at the burden and at the to obi a our retirement so even though your national health insurance no cater for some of the things no and yet yare ni na health insurance then cater for until we are using this medium to urge the government to say at least on fa yare no ahodro a ono nim say from the age of 55 to 60 years people stand a chance of getting or contracting such diseases no on fa sa yare no ento national health no so that people can benefit from it, because it is very, very painful and it is very draining as well, because oko pension na say to talk hypertension draw now to talk other in ruby say won ni ba bia obeka ho and say one save towards that day na eno na ya ede sa owo ne other we say no ede brain intem no, even though we have an estimated or expected life expectancy of say within between 64-65 years no I will say yen so yeah then yen manage your life no na ye hu how ye be ye sa nyoma no.
Okay, yen hwe nea emra no e kan e dey for pensions ho afei so no maybe say onipa a wode ne sika e ba be sie e wo e scheme no kro ne ho no e dey na emra kra e ka fa sa nipa no
nipa a ode ne sika e ba beto pension trust na emra no a ebo pensions ankasa ho no make us say Ghana has one of the best laws on the continent in terms of pensions. Now say would you sika ekoto pension scheme mo there is security and then there is what safety, because one emra no say obi a odi ni sika ebeba beto pension scheme bia no odi sika no tumu a boninka ye say sika say na wodi aba betum enti every month and I say every year bia no kire nipa no say sika a wodi ba ye enie na me de year investment no nsihu a eba ye nso enie enti abri bia no wunima he a wa contribute ena abri bia nso no wunim nsihu a wanya eno no ye number 1 ena emra no so esan kire say obi a ogige pension ogige contributions and I say eto no ye frɛ no eto no bia no saa nipa no enwo say o invest sika no
okay
e wo say onipa foforo ena say o invest sika no enti ne ogige sika no ye from custodian ena ne oba invest sika no so no ye friend pension fund manager
okay
ena ne ode report ebe bro say wagigi say enti insihu say na aba ho no ye friend pension administrator enti saa nipa miensa we na no obia ye independent institution enti sika no ubekwa kotua o bank me pa ocho emfa sika enkotua sika bia ma pension trust administrator sika no must go to the bank.
Okay.
But the first point of call no a pension fund administrator. I want to be registration wo. Now or the bank details no amount. into the bank details ma wa emra no emma no ho kwan say e wo say oje say sika no free ho me pa cho o kotua o sika ma pension fund administrator bi na say sika no ankoduru a men ko blame obia because emra no say kotua sika no bank, and by law no they are not supposed to even collect or receive monies on behalf of anybody. Enti utua sika no eto banka na bank no a alert administrator say sika say
obedia betua
ena asomesi abetua. Enti at the end of the day no your balances for all nti e be 100,000 na pension fund manager no I invest say sika no ena mra no so say your asset classes asset class me hu ne you American tree, but asset classes na kwa say enyoma e wo say wo di sika no ehyem. Enti your treasury bills, government of Ghana treasury bills, and your bank fixed deposits, and your shares, and your collective investment schemes, and your foreign investments. Now these asset classes no eno na say wo di sika no ehyem. The entire emrano I design sa asset classes and say yempese yebema fund manager no opportunity say all this sika no be kwakoto different investments be a ede ahunso so ebe break contributor no because sika na ayagege no eye obi pension nti wo hyi sika no sisi ana sika ben na nipa no kɔ ahomgye mu a obedi nti emrano de guidelines ato ho say even treasury bills no kra no say and obetumi ato untumi nto more than 50 to 60%.
Okay.
And our to shares and so untumi nto more than 15 to 20%. And as a to fixed deposit untumi nto more than 30 to 35%. Ni enti a emra na hye ne sa ne say ompese obisika ebekwa kwahye. Esan say treasury bills de bia yeka say e risk free. Enti say utumi invest larger sum of the money no in treasury bills, it means that at least you will be secured in a certain way. And a fixed deposit, and so bank fixed deposit, and so it's a little safer compared to even the shares and the other collective investment schemes. No, into shares and so there, we say it can fluctuate, it can go up, it may cost, it may buffer. Enti na mrano ama, excuse me, a certain percentage, so that once the success can now shares, I say me pay. In fact, so in 10 minutes, no, my main first can unquestion shares because shares will perform better. What the question more and the performance now started about from until then I'll buy because canon your dear a you'll be sicker. And I'm running so as I say every year biano, yen audited pension scheme. Into pension scheme bia is being audited every year. Into at the end of the day, no, you to me extra whether say Sikano ni nano was invested correctly, and I say Sikano was not invested correctly. Na emrano so ama obi a ye friend of board of trustee ono na ohwe sa independent companies no so in terms of the pension schemes no say board of trustee no obehwe say bank no on fiscal no enkoya de foforo pension fund manager so on fiscal no enkoya de foforo. And administrator no so no I was say or deliver to the individual contributor and so making sure say administrator no deliver. And it's nipa 4 way and the key players. And sana emrano so ama obi a no National Pensions Regulatory Authority NPRA ono na oye regulator ohwe say obi a eye na adwuma pepepe. Nti wo hwe the pension structure no pa dia na che say obi a eye independent on its own. But in the end, ade ba ko pe na yehwehwe se nipa no sika no ye bebo ho ban. Nti emra eda ho no. Nti uye obi a wa contribute wo pensions. Na se untumi nkoje wo pension statement a me pa cho kona koje wo pension statement. Na hu ahe a wa contribute. Na hu infaso a wenya. Ena se uye individual na wo institution mu. Enye wadwen say me company no otua me tier 2 ni me tier 1 ama me nti ma to madwum bibi be fa wase because yenya a lot of cases companies entua tier 1 and tier 2 for the individuals, especially for the tier 2, but wo hwe wo pay slip no so a de bia yete but omuntua. It is until when say bia wo beko akoka say wo ma me nkwohwe me statement wo beko akohwe so na bi wo ho a oh January ni so March ni so December 2012 ni so February 2015 ni so wo be hu ntokro bi wo but meche na start time ni na no wa ye adwuma a ya tete sales kana to ho enti say company no entua it goes against you the individual because regime na ye operate sisia no ye operate regime bia time a wodi usika be kwakoto no saa time na nsi ho no start enti wode sika no koto ho nda e bia e osan ka company no etua 2012 2013 wantua ena ene 2022 ena company no etua e osa wo kai hu se from 2012 up to 2021 returns I will say unyani na no walusu ni na until say ye be share company say ontua penalties most of the time no ebi mo okrampo na they also want to run away from even paying the penalties nti say company no entua na che say wo na ho a kire nti me use sa opportunity we aka kire every employee bia wo ye adwuma wo baby a wo ye adwuma bia wo nim say ye tua pension contributions either tier 1 or tier 2 bia no me pa ocho and up to the end of January o pension trust company a ye tua sales can no eko na from na je o statement na hu wo gina bia
okay eti anopedi nkomo de afa ya ho boa na se kwa esese ye toto ye chi ye sebe ye kwa homgye mu a ye mre na ebia na otonwade ebia na bosumi adwuma onye bi ebia na wonso ye bosumi adwuma wo ye student na ebia wo kondo se utumi de ho hye sa adwuma di ni ana se utumi contribute to one modache etimi abanfa so de ama nkomo ye di wunti na edi sa nkomo no ti ye be phone lines no na che se ebia question bi e ho ma pese obi so reje ya watimi ebisa no anase se eye adwenchire bi mpo anase emu bi kra na ohia so a watimi aye ne sa pepepe but na reje wo ka bibi e de fa eye trustees ne ho empempi no ye bete no na chese dwumekuo we no ya ye nya agidi woni mu sene oba ye ono kasa fefefe no na chese wo ani ne huni sene na ne kasa mu esitie ye bede hu se sa adwumekuo we woni no kre anase nsese di ho ko bata no ne di sika kosie ne ho
me da say but sa test we dey usually difficult kakra because send ya company bi ebeba na wada ne ho adi a kire wo no enwoma bi obeye na ebema wa gina di say oh company we dey me de misika to ha ondwane ana onye misika basabasa and there sometimes difficult. But one comfortable thing is our pension industry you have to be registered first with a regulator. Inti debiano regulator publish the list of trustees are in good standing. Inti niye hiane so wo pese wo invest here, make sure say wo beko NPR website na wakohwe trustees are ho.
Okay.
Because obi wo ho a ende he's in good standing but ochina
okay
onye in good standing.
Mr. J home so ma me na ye nkwa homa so mra me pa cho ofrefo aba ma che o kasa free na efro se
ye ni am pa cho efre me kwabna fo akwa
okay kwabna eti
me pa cho na me wo company bim ana me free si am ko school inti me pese na sata mo mutua me senate no inti me pese me hu se still a me yi ni wo ho ana se bia o matwam.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Not our company no offer mu co school.
Aye.
Contributions need there. I was say wo ho.
Okay.
Say wo co school wo to kwan yo. The number of years bia obekwa kodi wo baby a wo ko bia no. So far as ye contribute bi ma ono, I was say sika no e da ho. E na me che ne say I was say ono so otutu anamo. Na ontumi enkoji statement na onhu say ampa say yetuama na say yentuama no because e wo wo adwimu de e bia yetuama but obekwa koji statement na hwe no na e bia yen de yentua ɛna ebi so wɔ hɔ a ɛnyɛ sɛ bi a yɛntua o but yɛwɔ operational challenges with some of even the administrators and ebi wɔ hɔ nso a some of friend is saying company account managers na ɛwɔ sɛ ɔmo tue sika no obetua all right or submit list krompo a obehu sɛ wa interchange obi ni number nti ɔde snake number abɛhyɛ asomesi number hɔ nti ebi a wo ɛsɛ ɔgye 200 cedis a month a na sɛ ebi a ɛsɛ ya onya 50 cedis a ya 50 na abɛhyɛ wo ɛna wo 100 so akwakwhyɛ hɔ
me patch already ma yɛnkɔ ahoma ne somra me patch ofrefo aba yɛfrɛ ɔsɛ hina ɔkasa free. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Me patch o ma wanu so ma me kakra yɛfrɛ ɔsɛ hina ɔkasa free.
Yɛfrɛ me George me kasa free akra.
Okay, George etio.
Me so na me ejuma o company by na omo tua me snake money. By say me am ejuma company pese me am tua me den.
Okay, ubetumi ejina so na oreje etimi ama o nchimu kakra.
Mantini
so no say woni company ne ejuma but say ono ankasa na ejuma na opese o contribute oto aso eye ntinko penchemu kakra.
Okay. Nti say on the company na eye adwuma saa time na yetua ma no na the interesting thing here is obia was snake number snake number no unique obia de nti say wagyae ana say ono ankasa sisi a oye ono ankasa na adwuma e na opese otoa so a one the first step so taking say onko snake office because omo no manage tier 1 na honest snake for enko ka say sisi a no me pese me toa so na me contribute nti omo ebe register no because first na you register no he was registered under a company but sisi ano I say etumi register no under a voluntary contributor nti says kana from ende and I say from the time or person now or twice to tua ni na no ebe kwa old one no nti old one de eda ho
nti old one de obi amfa ne sanka
dabi old one de eda ho a pension fund na emra no so say until say we be call retirement no obi ani ho a obetum de ne nsa aka seska no
nti ene na George ti aye ukọ a oni mpedifo kokasa wo betimi aye nsaye ne nsakaye kakra ma na watu aso contribute nti na yakasafa aye trustees no a wo mu wo se yenko NPRA
website every year bia ye publish trustees in good standing because trustees no mo the first point of call who per se or join any pension scheme no administrators into they are the first point of call I saw more register answer omo ama we tueska no answer pension fund manager be take over that kind of we say enti and now betuma in good standing but ochina na he's not in good standing
yo ye kwa ma so ba me ba cho ofrefo aba e fro say hina okase free
but me di Thomas me kasa free akra
Thomas yetio
because me problem ni say na me ye more company bi e ma me ye sa sneaky by me to kwan kakra na me ye ji no ze a me ko me do be 50 years na na mpeze me ka me to aso no me ende
okay pachote
since you 50 years but to kwan kakra nti opese oto aso opese oto aso obetumi ato aso but na time I started say or contribute no time ben or contribute here because I was tier 1 no there I was say to me contribute for a minimum period of 180 months which is equivalent to 15 years.
Ora Thomas was 20 obetimi ebisa no directly.
Okay. In patch time ben now we started say we contribute. And our contribution now we contribute here no we share do 15 years.
Me shasi no na company no na me company I didn't stop here because I mean kai that potting but I mean me share me pay slip no a year be 2000 something that time me go be 30 something years or 40 something years
okay
it means me senate but person me kwa me fa so a metimi akọ ni omo akọka me hu se metimi continue anase se mantimi an continue anase de wo no ahiegu anase ayere nti mesre na on chire mu kakra na me
okay ne ewo ho ne de enhye because medical me start here no me ka say sales can now contributing there wo sika obi eni wo betumi de saka so what to kwan yo oko school why den yo eno ane say e da suspension ebi nkoka ho but obi eni wo betumi de ne saka sales can no e wo dia
okay
and anytime bia wo pese wo to aso bia no wo betumi ai den ato aso nti wo hwe ne de o say 50 years but o pese ohun so betumi asan ato aso ana an obetumi asan ato aso but eno ane say obekọ state office and I say tier 2 company ana or contribute to no na oni omo akoka say mi jae na me pese me san e be sha ase and I say pese me to aso nti omo be yi na free company na owo no because sisi ano de it is seen say oda so ahye sa company na ase nti omo be yi na free company na ase no mo create another account for no ankasa for him personally and I we bi mo so a oye adwuma wo ebia company A and na wejai oko company B now sa nkrofo no so no ewo snate de company no ebe supply o details into your holiday
Mr. J mame nkwa homa no somra me pa cho offer for ma chen for say hina okasa free
but so medianica me kasa free takwa
okay ani etio
aha me pa cho na me people teacher ba na me da payroll so
okay
na me was net number no da Inti na my contribution is secured, but later on me connection into 2011, and I'm starting a Juma as a nurse. Inti almost kasa almost J snake number inti me the old one and I'm the more but a contribution a koswa na me who me pay slips to say almost but it do be na snake forecast and biometric. Inti me call and me requested for me statement. Not just for the past 2 years now, me year Juma wo as a nurse na me starting need now. Almost but na show wo pay slip no so. But me this one almost say almost the almost me nya ho hwe. Me call accountant no so no so say ono no from direct source inti. Oni the other inti na just say no na shiegu. Inti mpacho no e den na metimi aye e claim me part and I say a shiegu kra.
Okay, yeah, that's Anita.
Obi eni ho a waye adwuma for a period e wo say ni sika e hyigu. So waye adwuma for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Na say wunhu o contributions no e wo snate ho. And I say wunhu e wo statement no so a enhyingu ye. Na usually no e difficult kakra, especially in the public sector, because in the public sector no yet sikano from controller into before I was abeka usikano kra no yatiti says candidate but time was started say all year adwuma no eye den a o pay slips e wo ho into sa pay slips no e be show e wo so say na yet me pension contribution tier 1 tier 1 no na tier 2 no e be show e wo so into say o documents ebe prove say yetete me from that period we up to that period we are and ye o say otumi e man no hom so na on tu anamo on fanko accountant no ho on fan che ne say me documents no enie say accountant ne ka say on tumi nya ho hwe a and ye on petition the ministry the right ministry whether she's under Ministry of Health and I say Ghana Health Service and I say baby the employer no baby no ono on petition mo because sika why ye ho adwuma I will say or benefit from now snate for no de omo saka sika na e no mo ya investment inti say ne sankan sika ne ya oba obeka che say o me sankan inti snate for na kasa mom de it is difficult to blame them say sika no enko ho de a and the nature say sika no hanging na hange so anache say himfa na hange wo baby nti o say yetumi trace baby asaska no hange wo nti ontu sa anamo no
okay yeah that's it afrefo amofre ye but ora aje ma me say question be ebia mentio manmu nanso no baby a me wo no me pese me siesie anase me toto machi nti me pese me nua bi ebegina manemu na wone ebia trustee bia edi nkomo na metimi a contribute bibi wo hon musa metimi aye
bibi wo ho a obetumi aye na even na say crampo no ye advice say obi begina one dem na wire contributions on your behalf.
Okay.
Because of technology and innovation.
Eba signatures ni ade distance no.
Oh, near trustees ni bi kura ne say near hia ne say obenya trustee number. Nti say wo pese obi boa na oye sa contributions na near nipa no betumi aya boa ne say on hwehwe trustee ma.
Okay.
Nipa no hwehwe trustee e ma wa na say onya contact bi ma wa. Wan kasa obetumi afrɛ mo directly. Wo frɛ mo directly a omo be send o form no email. Obe fele, obe sign, obe scan, no wasan send them no back.
Okay.
Ope say wo ye contribution na obe ma o bank account details. Na baby awo bia no, obe contribute towards sa bank account no. And say international transactions ekoso. Metumi awo UK and Holland. Na ma metu sika to GCB account ma na say Stanbic account mo. Into that element of human interface say obi begina wa nine there. Sa part no ye twa sa part no egu but say still la wo pese wo koso na obi gina wa name na onye contributions no ma wa eno so ye possible.
Okay.
Eno no say nipa no obeteki obetu sa anamo no wako trustee ho okọ trustee wa obeje forms or fill forms na or the whole details na ebeye na ono achro mo say may contribute am obi on a monthly basis until ono no sisi ono be gina mu as a trustee for you. Okay. That contributions no can go on every month. Be able to scan out to on accounts.
No, it's your amount. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Emergency no. Yem fan kumoni si ha. Na dachi bi no. Ya to aso. Ano pe di nkomo edefa. Yen si echiba ho. Ya dachi ahu mejie mu. Ahu bo esese yetimi eboa. Na yehwe yechi. Sebe ya dachi bi no. Ya kwa ahu mejie mu a yema na ebusua ne yankasa so no. Yemobo. Yenye mobo iti adope ye ni ora Jennifer Morris J wo ye pension consultant ono ene no edi enkomo no na ye jemu ede ama echa na echa ama enyum kakra na ye ba ye beto adwumedi no aso